Hey everybody, welcome back to Nailed or Failed Reviews. Do you need to replace the bathroom fan in your camper trailer or RV? Well, today we're going to be talking about this replacement bathroom fan from a brand called RVLOVENT. We picked this up off Amazon, and today we're going to go over the features of this fan. It's pretty advanced for its price. We're going to talk about what it comes with, and then we're going to go over the proper removal procedure and the tools that you need to get the old bathroom fan out of your RV. And then we're going to do an installation for everybody out there to help you figure out how to properly install this. We're going to go over the tools, some sealant that you need to install this new bathroom fan from RVLOVENT. Let's check it out right now on Nailed or Failed Reviews. All right, thanks again for joining us today on Nailed or Failed Reviews. Again, we're talking about replacement bathroom fans, and today's brand that we're talking about is called RVLOVENT. I think that's how you say it. This is another RV roof vent fan that has popped up on Amazon within the last year or so. And I'm really glad they did, because there's finally a competitor out there to the Maxxair brand that's super expensive. And this fan actually has the majority of features that those have, minus the remote. So there is no remote to this. It also has a manual crank top to open and close. Let's go over its features, talk about what it comes with, and then the tools that you're going to need for removal and installation of this bathroom fan. All right, so this is a 14-inch replacement bathroom fan. Again, you can use this to replace the bathroom fan that comes factory in your camper trailer, or you can even add this as like over the bed or something like that. You just have to cut a new hole in your RV roof. The whole body is made of plastic, so be aware that when you're looking at stock bathroom fans from the factory, their bodies are made of metal. This one is all made of plastic. The fan unit inside here is 11 inches, so it's 11-inch diameter. They don't give any specs on the size of the motor, how much power it has, or anything like that. But it's just kind of a no-name Chinese motor. It does operate both ways, so you can see that there is a switch here to operate the fan to blow out and also to suck air in. So we've got medium and high speed to suck air in, and then high, medium, and low to blow air out. You also have a little fuse replacement here, so if you blow the fuse for some reason, they do include a few extras. As I mentioned before, it has a standard manual knob that you're going to have to crank to open and close the lid. We went with the black version of the lid here, and so we'll flip this over and show you the other side in a second. But again, looks like it's really well made. It's got nice weight to it. I have taken this piece off of here. I've taken that apart to check out the inside, and it looks like all the components in there are held down really well, and just looks pretty quality. So paid about $150 for this off Amazon. Please help support the channel and purchase through our affiliate links. They've got really good deals on this right now, so check it out if you need to get a bathroom replacement fan. All right, now when we're checking out the other side that's going to be facing out on top of the roof, you can see we've got a very, very large motor here to work the fan. Again, they don't have any printed specs on here or anything that says anything about it. We've got a nice, pretty thick rubber seal here, so that when the lid is down, it's going to make a nice weatherproof seal to keep the rain out. And then you've got a standard arm here that's connected to the top that's going to be working it to go up and down. So pretty standard stuff there. Again, we've got the plastic body here. They've got all the mounting holes pre-drilled and countersunk, so that's nice. And again, they do include a bag of screws to get that screw down into Luan. If you do have a metal roof, like an older camper trailer or something else that you're putting this into, you will need to get some self-tapping screws to get this mounted. All right, now let's talk about removal tools and installation tools. So removal tools you're going to want to have for the old camper bathroom fan. You're going to have something like these putty knives here. You're going to need a flat-bladed screwdriver, and you're also going to want to make sure you have the correct bit for screws that they use in today's camper trailers, which is a square bit. So it's not a Phillips head. It might look like a Phillips head, but you need to be aware that you are going to be needing a square bit to really grab onto those old screws and get them out of there, because it kind of is a struggle. Now we're talking about installation of the new bathroom fan. You're going to need something like a jigsaw to cut this trim piece down and make sure you make a nice straight burr-free cut. So you want to have a nice jigsaw with a metal blade, so that has all the little teeth to make a nice clean cut. For sealing up the fan, where you can either use something like Dicor. I'm a big fan of Dicor. Today we're actually going to try Flex Paste. You can get Flex Paste at everywhere locally. And so we're going to try this. We're just going to smear a big old thing of Flex Paste on the bottom of this mounting flange here and hope that that seals up everything really nicely. Again, if you have to do any wire extending like we do, you want to have some extra wire sitting around. This is just 18 gauge wire, so if you have 18, 12 gauge, something like that, that should do. And then we also have these kits we'll provide some affiliate links for on the article at Nailed or Failed Reviews for these heat shrink kits for ring terminals and splice connectors and stuff like that. So we've got some splice connectors we'll use and extend those wires out. All right, that's going to do it for the rundown of the features on this RVLOVENT fan and the tools that you need. Let's head out to the camper trailer and show you what you're going to be dealing with when you're talking about getting the old fan out. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like for the majority of people. Once you get the trim pieces off, you're going to need to figure out where the screws are to get those trim pieces off. And most of the time, you're going to have some screwing right into the ceiling, the flange for that trim piece. And then you may have another screen. So like for us, here was the piece up against the ceiling. And then there was also a separate screen that had another set of screws holding it. So you want to make sure that you get that out of there properly so that you don't, mess up your roof or anything like that. Again, we're dealing with a foam core roof. So this is a laminated foam core roof. 2019 Coachman Apex Nano 194 BHS. So a 22-foot camper trailer that we're working on here. So there is no structure in these roof to screw things to. So what you're looking at here is the Luan that is on top of the roof, and then you've got your rubber membrane that you see when you're walking on the roof, and that's it. So if you've never taken apart anything to see what's inside your roof, this is what the majority of them look like. And again, this is only about 2 inches. So when we set that fan on here, you remember the flange, the fan was sitting below it. So it's going to come into this area, and then the inside trim piece is going to come up, and we basically have to cut all that trim piece down to fit into here. So this is what you're going to be looking like on the inside. Let's head up to the top of the roof and show you what to deal with there. All right, so up here on the roof, you can see we got quite a mess going on. And it took us quite a while to actually get all this out of here, because basically you have all this Dicor from the factory that they poured on here, and they literally just poured on, and so it goes wherever. And basically what I found is if you use a flat-bladed screwdriver, it works really well to just jam under there and just start pushing all this away. So you can see I have just little pieces pushed away, and that's because you want to push it away from where the screw is. If you try to just take the screws out, they won't come out because they have to grab onto the metal and then they'll back out. And so you have to do things like you have to pry under here. You got to try to grab onto some of them because they just won't come out of there. So again, that's why you want to have something like a putty knife, nice big flat one that you can get under there that's nice and flat without digging into your roof. You don't want to mess up any of this rubber membrane here. So you can see here we've got all the screws out. Take your time. Remember, this is a square bit, and you're going to want to make sure that you have a good number 2 square bit to get those out. So now if we pull up on this, it should come right out of there for the most part. And it's a nice warm day, so you also want to make sure it's nice and warm out so that the old Dicor is really, really flexible. So now you can see here we've got, looks like they used butyl tape. So we're going to do our best to take some of this off and get this all cleaned up. And you can see, this is what your roof is made out of. So not much to it. And this is why you want to really make sure this is cleaned up and prepped well for the new one, so no water will get through here. All right, so we're doing a dry fitting on the fan, and you really got to do something like this to make sure it's going to fit right. But you can see how far the fan actually comes down into the trailer compared to the old one that just sat right on top, and you could access, you could get into where this foam was and where these wires are. You can see that's completely not the case now. It's much tighter in there, and it's just going to be a lot tighter to get this everything fit into here. A couple of things about this trim piece. You can see I've got it up in there, and again, it goes in the inside and not on the outside of the top fan piece. So you got to make sure you're fitting that in right. And you can see here, there's my line that I made. That's basically the ceiling line. And this is how much we're going to be cutting off of here. So again, this thing is almost 6 inches tall, this inside trim piece. And for the majority of people, especially with newer campers, you're going to be cutting off pretty much all of this trim. So this is what it looks like. When I pull it out of here, you can see we've got about, I don't know, just around 3.5 inches that we're going to be leaving on here. So this is showing you how much, around how much you need if you mark the top of the ceiling here once this is in place. So we'll switch that measurement around to down here and cut the rest of that off. Now let's go up on the roof and check out a couple things that we've run into there. So up here on the roof, we're doing the dry fitting, and I'm just gonna leave all that junk under there because it's just impossible to get off, that butyl tape. And so if I put a bunch of that paste or even Dicor under there, once it gets screwed down and you pour Dicor over the top, it's all going to be sealed up. So you're definitely going to need Dicor to go over the top of this to seal up this edge here and the screw heads. The other thing I wanted to point out was this thing. So a lot of people have these already installed over their bathroom fan so they can have it open when it's raining. And if you remember, they have these brackets that you screw into the fan body. Now on the original one from the factory, this was metal and you had access to the inside, so you could actually put a nut on a bolt and run that through there and pinch this together like that. Now we don't have a tall flange here like on the old one, so we need to figure out some way to mount these. And again, we're mounting them to plastic. Unless you take the body apart, you don't have any access to the inside of here to put a bolt and a nut on the other side. So those are some of the things you got to look out for when you're talking about replacing your stock fan with some of these newer items that you're going to find on Amazon. This is one of the problems you're going to run into, is how do you mount this thing now? All right, so we're back. We didn't get it up on the roof yet because we ran into an issue with these brackets that we were just talking about, trying to get situated properly to mount that cover. So we thought, we had it all figured out, but then we ran into some other issues. Number one, you can see here what we've done is we've actually notched out the lid, because to get some height off of this for that cover, you want to, put these brackets in sort of this position. And so what that ends up doing is it causes the lid it doesn't allow it to go all the way down. So you can see there, I just took a Dremel tool and notched it out kind of in a crummy way, but it works, and it allows the lid to close most of the way. This is on the back side. Here's on the front side, you can see the lid, it won't allow it to go down all the way. And when you get to the back, it's even worse. So I could take this and notch this out. I might do that so that the lid will go down a little bit more. It's not that important in this area, just because, again, we're going to have this cover over it. But this is some things I wanted to point out if you're trying to mount these covers onto there, when technically it doesn't look like these replacement fans are really meant for it. I had to make a new hole in the mounting bracket so that the mounting hole is basically right up against this flange here. And that way on the back side, you actually have a spot where you can physically fit a washer and a nut. So I couldn't fit a washer on there, and I really didn't want to just put a nut because I was afraid it would cause it to crack easier. You got to spread that pressure out. And so I wanted to get a washer on there. And so you can see how down at the bottom it dug in because I drilled the hole in the wrong position, and then I re-drilled it so that it, like I said, it's basically right up against this flange here, the mounting flange. It's going to sit on the roof. So anyways, these are some modifications. You know, personally, I don't mind doing these, but I'm sure a lot of people will mind doing something like this because, you know, I had to go out and get all these bolts and nuts to get this thing mounted properly. Like I said, I had to drill some holes in here and modify the mounting bracket. I had to drill some holes in the fan body to get these things mounted. And then I even had to trim out a portion of the lid to clear this mounting bracket. You know, it's up to you whether or not it's worth it to do those modifications and the tools that you need and everything else. But something I want to point out here and show people that you can do it. You can get this mounted properly. You're just going to have to, like this, you know, take the screws out so that you can get in there. And it's not a big deal, but it is going to take a lot longer than it normally would. All right, here you can see I got this Flex Seal paste. I put it down where all that tape was before from the old fan, just filled in the gap. So now I'm going to set the fan in there and press it down into it. All right, so it worked out really well. You can see that paste is thick enough you can make a layer with it, and then when you push down, it's going to push it through those mounting holes, and then that way those will be sealed up as well. So once I get those screws in there, then I'll come back over and dump some liquid rubber or Dicor over it. All right, so it's been a day since I put the flex paste down, and just wanted to show you real quick what it looks like, because compared to like Dicor, it really didn't self-level. I thought it might, but you can see just where I've spread it out with my finger, and it's got all the ridges left into it. So I don't know if I necessarily recommend it. It worked out really well to put under the flange to make just like a big wall of paste that I could set this into because of all the tape under it that was there from the old fan mounting. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this Flex Seal liquid, which is very, very liquidy, and just dump it onto here, because I did notice that like right here, there actually is, like right there, there's a gap where it didn't self-level and fill in there. All right, so that went much better. Just pour that stuff on and let it do its thing. So that stuff is, as you could tell, very liquidy and similar to Dicor, but a lot more liquidy. I don't know a different word to use, but you can see it spread out real nice. All right, so now we're in the inside. We got that roof all finished up, poured that liquid rubber over it. That'll take a couple days to cure. But overall, I would say that this is a really quality product. I can tell you just after the installation and turning this on and get it working properly, I would completely recommend this to anybody out there who needs to replace their bathroom fan, or if you want to add this as a secondary fan in your RV, this is a really, really great option. Again, $150 on Amazon. If you're going to pick one up, please help support the channel by purchasing through our affiliate links. We'll have listed on the article at nailedorfailedreviews.com. You can find those affiliate links and really help us out by purchasing the product using them. You'll also find some other images and information on the installation, but the video should help everybody out there who wants to do something like this. Now again, we got the rundown of the features. We've got this manual crank here to open and close the lid. So just like the standard fan, we've got an 11-inch diameter spinning blade. You've got a replaceable screen here. You also have the capabilities of blowing air in and out. On the outside, you have high, medium, and low, and blowing air in, you've got high and medium. And then we've got the replacement fuse holder here. You will see these holes here. If you're gonna cut the channels for the wires to clear them a little bit easier, just make sure you don't go all the way to the bottom of this trim piece like you see I did here. I, of course, didn't notice my mistake, and I cut another hole for some wires for our hotspot antennas and did the same thing because I didn't realize what it looked like once it was in place. So my mistake, and hopefully that will help anybody not do that so it looks perfect. But I think it turned out really, really well. All right, so now let's talk about sound real quick. You know, you're installing one of these, you're replacing it possibly because the other one is so freaking loud. Well, let's do high, medium, and low. I've got a decibel meter here, so let's check ambient noise. Right around 35. Now let's go to high, blowing out. So around 70. Now medium. Right at 60. And then low. 52, 53. So that's pretty good. I mean, you know, I can just, everybody knows how loud those fans are from the factory. If you install one of these, you are going to be so happy with how quiet it is compared to that other fan. I mean, I can't even tell you. It's so nice on how quiet this is. So again, really recommend this product. Help us out. Purchase through our affiliate links. We'll have listed below, as well as on the article at nailedorfailedreviews.com. Like if you like, subscribe, check out the other videos. Thanks for watching Nailed or Failed Reviews.